All right. Welcome you loyal listeners to another episode of Agency Intelligence Podcast, where I try to give you that real agency intelligence and not the artificial that they try to make you believe out there. I am back with the executive sessions. I know you've been following along all these executives. Once again, I'm here to humanize people, and I'm not going to fail you today. I have got the COO and also the Senior Vice President of IPFS here, Mr. Jason Sanders. Now, here is going to be a fantastic time. My goal is to humanize him. But here's the reason why. Executives, they may have a sweet C before their name, but they were people and humans before they were executives, and they're still humans after they become executives. And I think it's important that we help humanize them, because for some of the tragedies that have went on over the last couple years, I think it's wild. I know these people, most of them very personally. I've had a couple beers with them. I've shared sporting events with them. And every time I do, I always leave thinking to myself, man, I wish the industry knew them like I knew them. And that right there is the whole point of the executive sessions. So thank you once again for joining, and let's get to it. Jason, appreciate you giving me this honor. I really, truly do.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Just your loyal listeners, Jason and I do know a little bit of each other because we see each other at football games, and also IPFS is a huge supporter of agency intelligence, and we greatly appreciate that. Couldn't do what we're doing right now without that kind of support, and we greatly appreciate it. Frank, you, Chase, everybody, and Dunn. Pretty soon going to be doing Ryan Westerman, so you're going to be seeing that here coming very soon. Jason, let's start here. You've risen through the ranks pretty quickly, but in a nice, methodical way. I know your story. I actually just learned it, when we were at the Chiefs game. We won't talk about that game though, because Chiefs didn't do good. Okay. So anyways, you're the chief operating and the senior vice president at IPFS. I mean, what drew you running the day-to-day business and people development? I mean, that's not something everybody runs to, Jason. What was your reason for that?
Well, first off, Jason, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to come on your podcast and speak with you and speak with your listeners. Been looking forward to this opportunity. That was a bad Chiefs game, but I know we had some fun together, and I appreciate you jumping right into it. So really what drew me to this role and what drives me every day is a passion for building strong systems and even stronger people. I genuinely enjoy the complexity of our day-to-day operations here at IPFS. What energizes me the most is the opportunity to develop high-performing teams and empower leaders to take ownership of their outcomes. We really focus on that. So at IPFS, I saw the chance to bring clarity, accelerate decision-making, and build a leadership culture of excellence, which I think is very important. I'm also motivated by helping our associates succeed. That's what we're all about here, is helping each other be better and better every single day. And it's truly what gets me up every single morning.
That's awesome. And Jason, being part of your organization, meaning working with your marketing department, your sales department, and just being a part of them in events and different things. Sometimes when we're talking about our superiors, and you've got a bunch of guys and gals sitting around maybe having a cold, refreshing beverage, and someone mentions some higher up, you'll see people, yeah, and maybe they roll their eyes when they hear that person's name. You don't run into that situation when you hear the higher ups here. You hear like, wow, hey, that person actually recognized that I was good at something when I didn't realize I was. I've never worked at an organization where I became somebody that I didn't think that I was going to become. And I think that comes through some of the leadership development, which we'll talk a little bit about in a minute. But that's the kind of stuff that we hear from IPFS. There's no doubt about that. And I think you being at the lead, I think that's a beacon that you probably shine.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We lead by example here at IPFS. I'm a man of the people. I mean, I started in the mailroom 14 years ago and have worked my way all the way up to the top. I've worn every hat, and we're successful because of our people. That's really what makes the success.
Amen.
And we believe in that.
I love that, Jason. I do too. Greatest asset. That's right. Sometimes they say we can't, as businesses, we can't put our greatest asset on our balance sheet.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep them over on the, because they're not a liability, but right. Government says they are. Speak to the trajectory of your career. Seriously, you've got, you started with leadership development program, hence exactly what we were just kind of talking about, and the opportunities that come with your willingness to take on various roles. There's a lot of people who they like to stay in their own lane. They like to say, okay, I'm going to get really good at this and get bogged down, but that's never been you, Jason.
No, yeah. So my career kicked off 14 years ago in Spokane, Washington. At the time, it was called the Branch Manager Trainee Program. A, I didn't know anything about Spokane, Washington. B, I didn't really know much about the Branch Manager Trainee Program. And so through the evolution of that, we've really expanded it into the IPFS Leadership Development Program. Very encompassing. It's more than just becoming a branch manager. It's learning our business from the ground up. It's getting experience in all the different departments, kind of like an entrepreneur. That's really what we let our people be, as entrepreneurs when they run the business. And so that's really helped me in my career is, like I said, starting in the mailroom, learning the business from the ground up, and then growing through that program and being able to turn around and deliver a program that's produced some world-class leaders for us. So I'd say the experience has given me exposure, like I said, to every part of our business. It's encouraged me to take on challenges, which of course there's challenges every day in our business throughout different locations I've been in or different titles that I've had along the way. I've leaned into mobility. The learning curves and the chance to view our business from multiple angles, I think, is critical from an executive perspective.
Mobility. I like that.
Yeah.
I like
Every move I've made has taught me something about people, which is so critical, process, and our culture. Over time, I've realized that saying yes to the unknown was building a unique resilience and perspective that prepared myself for this role and future people for this role.
Wow. Preparing for future people for this role. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't plan to stay in this role forever.
No, you don't.
You're always trying to aspire to do more.
That's right. We're always inspired to do that and more. And it's great that you're looking at that. Now, going back right to that, though, this leadership development program, I mean, seriously, we all know that it's probably one of the top. People do mention it. And sometimes it's funny when people say, yeah, that premium finance company is in there. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But we've got some things like, I'll mention a couple, Derek Bach, Aiden Roberts, Brady Hall. I mean, they're already making waves in this company upon many others, but I just wanted to point out those three. And what inspired you once again? It may sound some of this questions, but is there anything you have to add about what helped you spearhead this program and transform the organization?
So the program was born out of clear necessity for succession planning. We're building a bench for the future leaders and expanding our teams to become more successful. And I think some companies lose sight of that. We're growing really, really fast here at IPFS. Our last 5 years, almost every year has been a new record year. So we continue to break records and achieve new goals. But I think ultimately we wanted to create a mentor-driven environment where high potential talent can really stretch, right? We're all about stretching, be challenged, and most importantly, be seen, heard, and listen. Seeing leaders like our recent graduates, as you mentioned, Derek Brock, Adian and Brady Hall, they've all hit the ground running. They're producing real results in real time and driving impact for our organization, which I think is critical.
That's awesome.
I also view this as more than just a talent pipeline, right? To me, it's a culture accelerator that's helping us become more agile, more accountable, and a more future-ready company, right? Being more proactive and building towards the future is what it's all about.
That's fantastic. I just wrote a manual. It's called AI 2030 Future Ready. So that's awesome. I love the hearing that those things hit. That I'm over here thinking about this, and then you're using the wording as well. I love it. It's one of the things that you talked about here, which is spearheading. Is I like how you're talking about. Are these younger people, the Derek, the Aiden, the Brady? Do you usually find younger people in these various groups?
Yeah. So I want to be clear. I mean, you target younger associates coming out of college but we also, it's not just for younger associates.
That's what I wanted to know.
It's any age group. We don't
thought.
discriminate or anything like that. I mean, it could be somebody that's been in the career for 10 or 15 years could have the ability to go through it. But we do generally see the younger group that come through that program. They're kind of just starting their career is a good pathway for future growth and development.
Okay. I feel like I should read that we are an equal opportunity employer disclaimer right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Jason, really thinking about this, like, I don't think you realize, and maybe have we talked about the Xennials? Did we talk about those?
I don't know, did
I mean, we didn't have that many drinks. I think we should still be able to remember what we were talking about. I don't think so. there's a unique group of people in the world that were born anywhere from 75, 76 to about 84, 85, somewhere around there. They don't really know when it is. And they're before Generation X, and they're before the millennials, or actually they're after Generation X, and before the millennials. The thought is on this, and this is an actual thing. There's a lot written on it. The thought is that Generation X was born analog and raised analog, as opposed to you got the millennials, which were born digital and raised digital. But there's this group of people in there, which you would happen to be sitting right in there,
right.
that allow us to say we were born analog, but we were actually raised digital. And there's a wild thing that goes on there because it allows us, and I hear it in your leadership understanding, and that's why I asked about age, had to do with the fact that you can really kind of see that you're able to reach back, understand, but also be able to look forward to some of the older guard, the veterans, and say, okay, I get you as well.
Yeah.
And somebody's got to be there over this 40 or 50 year span of people working to make that the same. And I hear that. And am I correct? You're in your mid-40s, correct?
Yeah, correct.
That's what I thought. I was going on a limb about halfway telling that story. I started thinking to myself, man, I hope that he is in his mid-40s like I do remember him telling me. So thank goodness about that. But yeah, it's just something to look up. You find it interesting. And the reason why I think that's big for business is I think you can have talented 30 and 20-year-olds. I think you can have talented 50 and 60. But there's something about that generation in there that helps bridge the gaps between people. So that's awesome. Appreciate that. I just love it. Love it. And I hear it in that. Great leaders find ways to give back to their community. I have found this to be true. This is like the number one thing. I think a lot of times people think that, he finally got to be successful. Now he gives back. I don't actually find that to be true. Very little, especially the higher the leader, the more the community or the servitude was in them that led them to where they were. I know you're big in your community, and I know it means a lot to you. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very involved in the community. So I'm honored to serve on the board of Children's Mercy Hospital for one of our bigger events, Red Hot Nights.
Great.
We raise millions and millions of dollars every year. Children's Mercy, it's a national leader in pediatric care, mental health, and innovation. It's really near and dear to my heart. Being part of this board has certainly allowed me to give back in a meaningful, tangible way by supporting programs that impact the lives of real families, not just here in Kansas City, but across the country. We bring kids in from, you name it, they come in from all over the world, frankly. Red Hot Nights definitely brings together Kansas City's leaders and change makers to raise funds for critical hospital needs, from medical equipment to community outreach. For me, giving back is part of my leadership DNA, no doubt. So investing in Kansas City really means investing in the next generation and setting the tone at IPFS for who we really want to be as a business leader. That's what fills my cup.
That's awesome. Just asking, do you guys require that or ask of your team at IPFS, of all your employees, to say, hey, we give time for you to go donate your time or anything? Volunteer your time.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We do that
cool.
across the country. Yeah.
Okay.
Harvesters and a number of different events and initiatives that we participate in as a company. Yeah.
Right. And encourage the employees to
Absolutely.
do it. 100%.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how you start the leaders. That's where you find the leaders. If the leaders like community, you got to get them out there and go, oh, there's one.
Right.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you there. Fantastic. Now, this is one of the questions that I really kind of like, and it's not just one, there's a couple of those questions, and it has to do with, the loyal listeners have heard me ask it this way. I want you to think of 1, 2, or 3 people that you may have in your head that meant a lot to you. This was a really great question, for Frank. It was really, really wild. I can't wait. If you're loyal listeners, if you haven't seen that one yet, you got to get that one. But it's important because it's not that it was the mentor for you. I wouldn't want to know about your mentors, but how did they affect your leadership and what you're doing now?
So I've been fortunate to have a few great mentors along the way. I think that's important, especially earlier in your career, is to seek those kind of mentors and leaders. And so for me, there's a lot that stands out, but one in particular, our prior president, Mike Gallagher, who really took me under his wing when I first started my career here at IPFS. He was one of our first associates ever hired. Great guy on our board today still. He once told me clarity is kindness. And that really stuck with me. Clarity is kindness. So as a leader, I've learned that being direct, clear, and intentional, especially in challenging moments, doesn't just make you more effective, it shows respect, right? People deserve to know where they stand. When you lead with clarity and transparency, you build trust, but more importantly, you build phenomenal teams, really impactful teams. That mindset has become a big part of how we lead and coach here at IPFS, and it's helped us build a culture that can scale with our growth for many, many years to come.
Clarity is kindness. You kind of got me there. I felt like I was reading or listening to an Audible book, and I'm trying to hit the 30-second back, button. That's great, because I think of my own employees, and I think if I'm not clear to them, they're frustrated. It's chaos. Everybody's, it's like herding cats, and no one wants to do that. No. And I love that. I've never heard that. Wow, clarity is kindness. That's great. That's worth all the marbles right there. I'm telling you right there. That was good stuff. I like that. I like that a lot. And somebody told you that? One of your mentors told you that a long time ago?
Long time ago. Yeah. Boom. It's really stuck with me all these years.
Boom.
It's so true.
Wow. That's cool. It's so cool how those little things, And was it a big impactful thing to you?
Absolutely.
Right when you heard it?
Yeah. It really resonated.
Sometimes it's really quick. And then sometimes it's, you hear it and then you encounter it and you're like, that's what she was saying, So we got a lot of those from mom and dad. I'll tell you that. So okay. Outside of your work with volunteerism, which is awesome. And I wanted to go back with you sitting on the hospital board. We got to work something here. I mean, we got Taylor Swift now in town. I mean, we got to somehow get some of those donations from her.
Yeah, we do.
We got to work on that. You need any ideas? I'll let you know.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'll let you know. Outside of your work in volunteerism, what passions or rituals really have you hit refresh button and bring authenticity? I hate saying that word, but I almost got it. Authenticity to your leadership presence. What is it?
Yeah, I'm big on rhythm, structure, and discipline in both life and leadership. I think it's critical. My day starts generally at about 4:30 in the morning. That's when I carve out time to reflect and really get ready and prepared for the day. I get on my Peloton. I get my sweat on. Mm-hmm. My 3 boys aren't up yet. Early in the morning, they get up early, but they're not up quite yet. And I just get myself grounded and ready to be a very productive, high impact day. For me, every minute is accounted for. Literally, I've broken down my day into minutes, 30-minute and hour increments to be as productive as I possibly can leading our organization. And so I think having structure helps me stay focused on the goals I've set personally and for IPFS. I probably shouldn't say this at the risk of alerting my team. Everybody's trying to grab your time, as a leader. So I'll say this to you and your listeners, and hopefully our associates listen too. But the best time to catch me is early in the morning. I try to get here an hour to 2 hours before anybody else. I'm very intentional. It's quiet. I get focused. I don't have nonstop meetings or the revolving door. And I really get most of my high impact things done at the beginning of the day. And that's stuck with me for many, many years. I'm also a family first person. So time with my wife and kids centers me and reminds me what really matters the most. When you're centered personally, I think that steadiness shows up in the boardroom and across the organization.
You got me thinking. I didn't know that you would really give me the answer of exactly what you do in the morning, which is really cool because that's a big time for me too.
Yeah.
It's cool. People get on me. They can't believe it. I'm a 4:30. I'm gonna go to bed at 7:30 though, guy too.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I am. I'm an early guy. To me, there's nothing really good for my brain on after 8 o'clock. No. That's the way I've always thought. But and I'm excited to wake up at 4:30 and then get my thing on. The reason what got me thinking about this is I call it, this is my own little thing, Jason, but I call it the 2-hour rule. If you come in and you work 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, at the end of the year, you will work 2.5, almost 3 months more than that other person.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
That blows my mind when you think about that. So sometimes you think to yourself, okay, if I came in an hour, and we talk about it, I talk about this with my team. No one has to come in before you do. But when you're asking and you're reading books about how to be great, when you're asking me questions and advice about how I did things, sometimes we try to get it too difficult into, hey, show up to work an hour earlier.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Let's not really try to jump through too many hoops here.
When your competitors aren't showing up early, they're not putting in the work, right?
That's right.
And so each one of those hours starts to compound, right? It's the small, simple things that add up.
It is. Whew, so much. I think so much like that. In 10 years, you could literally work 3 more years than somebody doing that.
Exactly.
I don't think people realize that.
No.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal if we live 550 years, but no, medicine says it's a lot shorter than that, So anyways, okay, we'll keep going on. Last question I have for you. And yes, everybody, I had to write these questions down because when you get in the presence of Jason, you kind of get a little scatterbrained. All right. Now looking ahead, for what's one personal goal or adventure on your bucket list? I love this question. Whether professional, individual, something off the beaten path. What are you excited about? What is something out there?
So what gets me excited every day?
Yeah, excited. And what's maybe one personal adventure that you want to do on your bucket list?
Yeah. So I see myself really spend the rest of my entire career leading at IPFS because I believe in our mission and what we do for our clients and our associates. That's really what it's all about. I'm a homegrown leader. And that's something that's personal to me. I grew up here in Kansas City. I've lived all over the United States with IPFS, and to be able to come back home is pretty special. I'd say, to be honest with you, of course, I want to continue to grow and aspire and step into those CEO shoes. Hopefully, if I get the opportunity to lead the next chapter at IPFS, that would be something that's really important to me too. But outside of work, I think one of my biggest dreams is to take my family on an extended international trip. Not a vacation necessarily, more like a sabbatical for a few months of unplugged, immersive travel. Just get off the grid, right? Just get off the grid. I think stepping away is healthy. It creates space to reset, reflect, and come back with fresh clarity on what really matters. I'd say early on in my career, I really didn't focus on that. I was just still am, but hard charging, 14, 16 hours a day, never taking a break, never taking time away. And I think it kind of did a disservice to the organization because, that's a lot of hours you're putting in without stepping away. And so I've tried to improve being able to step away and spend time with my family and kind of reset. And when I come back even more recharged and more powerful than I did before. And so I do try to communicate that to the team. Like, you have vacation time for a reason. Take it, go get reset, recharge, come back and refocus. And I think that's helped. I've seen that help over the last couple of years.
Just off the top of your head, you may have thought about this, but you got any ideas, couple spots where you'd like to take the family maybe?
Of course. Yeah. London's a big one.
Yeah.
I've got some friends over in Lake Como, Italy. So who would want to go hang out with the stars over there? No, but I think London or Italy would be really cool to go check out with the fam.
Totally, with the fam. How old's the oldest?
He's 8.
And then the youngest?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And would you want to go probably when they're older so that they can remember it and we can actually have conversations about history and what this was?
Right. Right now it's, water parks and Disney and
it's the Wisconsin Dells right now.
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Jason, really, I think that this has been fantastic. I think we've talked about the leadership program. I think people know the greatness of IPFS. You guys, we're going to talk to Ryan, or if you've listened, loyal listeners already, but talking with Ryan, which is almost like I don't want to say the baby of IPFS, but is the new way of doing business, right? I say a lot at the end of the day, premium finance is a way to collect money. Right. So basically it's payments, right? And then electronic is payments. It's a good vision. I know the story of why you guys set it up with the mentality, trying to meet that customer demand. We use it. We love it. People use it. We used others before. Wasn't as slick. Wasn't as great. You guys have really done a lot. It really, really, truly has. And I think that sometimes we think of IPFS as this big building that we're sitting in Kansas City. And a lot of people don't even know that it is a big, beautiful building like it is. But I think there's a a specialness to IPFS. It's a family-owned business. You don't find those very often.
Right.
If you've talked to people about the family, they're a fantastic family. The CEO's great. You guys aren't paying me to be here and say all this. It just has to do with the fact that, the first 4 or 5 places I wanted to interview, it wasn't a coincidence that it was you guys. So kind of closing up, is there really kind of anything that you want to say? Anything maybe that you had on your mind? Maybe we talked about it all. So anything you got?
Yeah. I mean, we're here to provide value to our insurance agents, right? We want to help you guys sell more insurance. And so we're really trying to control the insurance market. So you spoke about a little bit. I mean, we're more than just premium finance, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have payments now.
Mm-hmm.
We have some other incredible features coming down the pipe to help solve our insurance agent clients' problems. When you talk to Ryan's done a fantastic job on building out our platform company. He's one of the sharpest, smartest technology people I think I've ever met in my life. We're lucky to have him.
Mm-hmm.
We are talking about some really, really cool things to bring Andon and IPFS closer together in kind of a one-stop shop platform to maximize our client experience, really is what we're after. And so more to come on that, but there's some really cool things that we're building out behind the scenes that will roll out into the market as we go forward.
Wow. Fantastic. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for allowing us to humanize you.
Absolutely.
So loyal listeners, I hope that I was able to achieve whenever I told you at the beginning that I wanted to humanize them and you decided to listen to this. I do thank you for it. And I hope that I accomplished the mission. I hope you get to see what I get to see when I'm not at work. He's literally scheduled by the minute, so I don't see him or much around here. But when we go to the games or we go to the events, he's always there. He's a jewel to hang out with. Met your wife for the first time this last week. Wonderful woman. And so, loyal listeners, you know what I do because I do it for you. Tell me your thoughts and tell me your ideas, and I'm going to tell the world what you have to say. This has been Jason Cass. He's Jason Sanders, and we are out.